Hi there. Greetings, everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. Time to do an episode of Monday Night's Look Back at a Classic Rock Album, a show in which I pick an album that's greater than 15 years of age and is a bit of a classic to me, is either a two, or maybe a masterpiece. So the album I've chosen for this honor tonight is the Beatles' A Hard Day's Night. So this album was released on July 10th, 1964. I was a few months old at that point in time. Recorded at the EMI London and Path Marconi in Paris. Also, it's about 30 minutes in length, so kind of very short, actually, a lot of ways. On the Polyform label, sorry, not Paraform, Polyform, and produced by George Martin. So appearing on the album, of course, is your classic members of the Beatles. I'm just going to move it down here so I can actually refer to it if I need to. It doesn't, that wasn't it, sorry, wrong button. Okay, so you've got John Lennon here on lead and harmony and backing vocals, as well as acoustic rhythm and lead guitar parts. Harmonica on I Should Have Known Better, and piano on Things We Said Today. Paul McCartney, lead, harmony, and backing vocals. Bass guitar, piano on When I Get Home, and cowbell on You Can Do That. You Can't Do That. You got George Harrison, harmony vocals on When I Can Get Home, backing vocals on You Can't Do That, lead vocals on I'm Happy Just to Dance with You. Lead guitar and acoustic guitar and 12-string guitars throughout most of the album, of course, and then Ringo Starr on drums and percussion. So this album, excuse me, still got that cough going on. So this album, I'm just going to shut this off so it doesn't, make the screen light right up. So this album, about 30 minutes in length. That's pretty short. It's on the short side for me. I always feel like I could use a few more songs on this album every time I listen to it. Still, great stuff on here. I'm going to use me lovely glasses now to look at the back here. So it has 13 tracks in total. This is a music score basically for the movie A Hard Day's Night, but still just an absolute killer album. I think it's one of their best. So you've got songs like A Hard Day's Night, which is the title track, really good, and has that infamous guitar opening by George Harrison here that is so iconic in nature. Should Have Known Better. Another great classic Beatles song. If I Fell in Love with You. Yeah, love this track. Really strong. It's just proliferated with some of those great poppy kind of feel-good tracks to me. I'm Happy Just to Dance with You, another one like that. And I Love Her. Tell Me Why. Can't Buy Me Love, another great classic, well-known Beatles track as well. Anytime at All. I really love John Lennon's voice. It's so, whenever I hear it, it's just so iconic in every stretch of the word. To me, it's the voice of the Beatles when I hear it. And Paul McCartney does a lot of stuff too, but I think it's Lennon's voice that's the one that really I associate with the Beatles. I'll Cry Instead. Things We Said Today. When I Get Home. You Can't Do That. Probably one of the more underrated tracks on this album too. I'll Be Back. So this one also comes with a Hard Day's Night mini documentary talking about the album and everything as well. Yeah, just a really well put together album. You can see why it did so much sales and why it was such a big hit when it came out. kind of I think of this album as kind of emphasizing that pop era of the Beatles, the era in which they were kind of a popish, kind of girly band in some ways, I guess. Um, Not so much of that psychedelic stuff that came much later, but I still like it. I still think it's a great album. Um, I find it very energetic, lots of energy here, and whenever it comes on, it's very contagious. You just got to sing along with it. You can't just listen to it. I've never been able to. It's There's a few Beatles albums like that. This one I think is the one that comes to mind the most. As soon as I hear it, I got to start singing it. Anyways, so that's the album I chose to talk about tonight, which is A Hard Day's Night from the Beatles. Please like and subscribe this if you've enjoyed this episode. If you want, you can hit the notification bell above my head and it will uh, let you know when the next video is coming up. Also, if you want to comment on the Beatles or the Hard Day's Night or anything I've said, or if you want to add to it, you can. If there's things about the album that you know specifically that maybe you think should be mentioned here, you can do that as well. Um, I mean, you could talk about this album for hours and probably never really kind of get the whole story 100%. That's the Beatles. The Beatles are, of course, one of the most well-known and most talked about bands in rock history. So, anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please let me know, and we will see you again next week for another look back at a classic rock album here on Prog Monster. Take care and have a good one. Goodbye.